Real reason why men date younger women is not because of their physical appearance, their bodies. No, because today with plastic surgery and everything else, you barely know who is 40 and who is 18. Guys date younger women because they're easily manipulated. They're gonna be very happy with a few crumbs because maybe they didn't experience much in the world. They're gonna be just easily impressed. And it's way cheaper to date a younger girl.
Translation: the amount of attention I receive from men is diminishing, and now it's too difficult for me to compete with younger and hotter women. Now that they're no longer in their youth, they try to shame men for having a preference that stems from their biology. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Any guy who goes after a girl significantly younger than them is severely lacking in their life. And I mean that confidence-wise. I mean, like, they are falling short in so many places that is the only place they can turn to feel like they have something on the scale of power.
And ultimately it's predatory. There's just no way to because you're manipulating someone who is not aware of what they're giving you. Yeah. And it's unfair.
I get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. This is the same woman who gave marriage advice despite getting divorced twice and multiple failed engagements. Not to mention she's a corn star.
I work in finance in a male-dominated industry, and I'm going to tell you why older guys date younger women. I have all these guys around me that I see doing that, and I asked 100 men, whether they're doing that now or not. I asked 100 men, why do you date younger women? And while I understand 100 may not be that huge of a pool, if every single one of them is saying the same thing, I think is pretty legit. So initially, I thought that they were dating younger women because younger women were prettier.
You're goddamn right.
But I came to understand that no, there are plenty of older women that will give a younger girl a run for her money, right?
Stop the cap.
Very pretty older women out there. Looks has nothing to do with it. Every single guy, every single one, told me that the reason that they like dating younger women is because they're easier to deal with. And I was like, what does that mean, easier to deal with? And they said, well, she doesn't challenge me. It's not always a back and forth. I just tell her something and it just is. And life is just much easier that way without someone always challenging you and asking you questions. Translation: younger women are more gullible. And if you're a younger woman, this is not a knock on you. I was gullible when I was younger too, when I was in my 20s and 30s. But older women are no longer gullible. You know why? Because we have experience in dating. We have seen all the BS. We have seen all the games, and we can see right through it. Our BS meter is on point. And when a guy tries to BS us, we call him out, right? Because we know that's not true. However, if you're younger, you don't have the same experience, you're not going to do that. So older women understand that the reason that you are not being chosen has nothing to do with your looks or your age. It has to do with they think you're too smart. And younger women, please stop dating these old ass dudes, because one of the main reasons they want to be with you is because they think you're too gullible and you deserve better.
It's very simple. Younger women are more beautiful, they're more fertile, and bring less baggage into the relationship. Her claiming that men going for younger women has nothing to do with their looks or age is actually laughable. She's clearly using this as a coping mechanism.
Date somebody your own age. Why aren't you doing that?
Why?
Why aren't you dating women your own age?
Some women, not all. Not all. Some women be pretty when they young. When they get older, they be looking bad. The older women don't be fit. They don't be friendly. They don't be feminine. They don't be cooperative.
So
and they don't be submissive.
A lot of times men want to date somebody so much younger because y'all be wanting somebody to train. That's what it is.
Yeah, sometimes.
And men say that. Women are not things to train.
Well, she could train up. It said train up a child in the way they should go.
But that's why y'all be wanting to date children. That's why y'all be wanting to date children.
So listen, I see older guys date young girls all the time. You understand?
We do, but that doesn't say that there's nothing wrong with that, though. Just because it's normalized does not mean that it's okay.
The feminist movement in Western culture has completely corrupted modern women. Try going to another country and meet a feminine woman who has great values, who was raised to be a wife. The difference is unbelievable. She will cook for you, clean for you, treat you with respect, basically just treat you like a king all around, and she will be happy to do it, unlike these modern women. Of course, you have to treat her great in return, but this is getting harder and harder to find in the West.
Qualified to talk about this because I have unfortunately dated 3 men that were more than 10 years older than me, starting too young. Okay. If you don't know, Billie Eilish is dating Jesse Rutherford, and she's 20 and he's 31. And they decided to make fun of people thinking that their relationship was weird by dressing up as a baby and an old man. And of course, people thought that was even stranger. So when I was 19, I started talking to a man who was actually famous, who was 10 years older than me, so I think he was 29. And then when I was 22, I started talking to a man who was 31, 32. And then when I was like 24, I started talking to a man who was 37. Now, my whole life, I have always felt too mature. I had to grow up really fast. I was just really like ahead of my times, right? So naturally, I wanted to be with an older guy. But I will never forget it. I was working in a restaurant at the time, and I was like really good friends with like the bartender guy. And there was a table of these like 31-year-olds, and I was 21, I think, at the time. And they were like hitting on me. And then the bartender comes up to me, and I was like, oh my God, they're cute. Yeah, they're like 31. Like, I'll do it. And he was like, Jasmine, please answer this for me. What would they want from a 21-year-old? What would they want? Think about it. And I was like, you know what? I hear you. I hear it. And I'll tell you what they want. They want a woman who is extremely sexually explorative, who thinks he's really cool and thinks that he makes a ton of money. A woman who thinks all of his stories and life experience are really cool, because when he is around women his age, he does not feel cool. And this is a problem because they are seeking you out for these qualities, but they also know that you are going to have less boundaries and trust them more than you would the average guy because they're older and they know better. So the second that you start to challenge that, they start to rebel and get really upset, and that creates a very large potential for a lot of problems. And that's why we see people like Taylor Swift making so much music about really regretting that time, because you feel exploited. Like, you trusted this person because they basically got you to a place where you can trust them, and then they took advantage of you, as they were planning to the entire time.
They want a woman who is extremely sexually explorative.
Are you ready for my take? Okay, Jasmine, I appreciate that you may have had a particular personal experience with older men, and they may have been predators, but older men do not seek out younger women to date because they want an extremely sexually explorative woman. Older men who are healthy are seeking younger women because they're supposed to be more sexually pure. They're supposed to have less sexual partners. They're supposed to have less baggage, less trauma, and ultimately they should respect them more, because a lot of older women become jaded and they may be abrasive and difficult to deal with. But ultimately, younger women are just naturally more beautiful and more fertile. And so especially if an older man is late to the game and he's just starting out with trying to have a family, of course he's going to want to pick a younger woman. Or maybe he wants to continue building his family legacy and he wants to have more children. So of course he's going to want to pick someone ultimately who is more fertile and able to have children. So it's very important to have the whole package. You want a woman who has a little bit of everything, right? She's beautiful, she's fertile, she's intellectually and emotionally mature, she's grounded, she's self-aware, she knows her needs, her boundaries, her goals, her values, all of those things. But if you ask a man if he's gonna pick a woman the same age or like 2 years younger than him and a woman who's 10 years younger than him with all of the other same character traits, of course he's gonna pick the younger woman. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So painting older men in this light that they're all predatory and they're seeking to exploit younger women in a sexual way, that's unfair. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to put my 2 cents in to correct this bad perspective and to pray that all of you stay away from predatory men and that predatory men are held accountable for their doing, but do not blame all men who are older and maybe more sophisticated and think that they're being creepy, because they're not. Perhaps you're just not the right pair for each other.
She really hit the nail on the head right there, and I can guarantee you she triggered a lot of women with this video. Sometimes reality isn't what you want to hear. Thank you for watching, bros. Consider subscribing to the channel so you won't miss any future uploads. A like, rating, and a comment would also be highly appreciated. Let me know what kind of content you would like to see in the future. And until next time, guys.